foodies, today we are going to use the haleem masala that we had ground to make oats haleem. Again, keeping up with the theme, this is going to be an easy oat haleem recipe, and it's definitely substituting all the dals for oats. And this is poha, pressed rice. So this doesn't take that long to make, and that's why I'm sharing it. It could be an amazing dish for your Eid. So this is 3/4 cups of oats. These are old-fashioned oats, and this is half a cup of poha. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse this, and I'm going to soak this until the chicken is getting ready. In the spices, we have 1 teaspoon of red chilli powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, half a teaspoon of ginger and garlic over here, and this is garam masala, 1 teaspoon. This salt, 1.5 teaspoon, half teaspoon coriander, and we have the haleem masala that we had made before. For this, I cut about 2 medium-sized onions and I made them into half, and I'm gonna use 1 breast of chicken. Of course, you can always double the recipe, but I'm making it in a small quantity today. We are gonna do this very simple. We're gonna put all the onions and the spices into the chicken, and I'm gonna cook this chicken. So hold on till I do that and watch the next clip. So in this Instant Pot, I've taken 1 breast of chicken. I'm gonna add half of the onions that we had cut, and all of the spices. Once again, it's 1 teaspoon of dhania powder or coriander powder, half teaspoon of haldi, salt 1.5 teaspoons, garam masala 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of ginger powder, and 1 teaspoon of chilli powder. All of these bring out a really good flavor, especially when you use the dry ginger and garlic powders. They really bring out the flavor. I like to substitute it when I don't have ginger garlic paste. I'm gonna add this, and in this we're gonna add some water. About 1.5 cups of water in here. And you want to make sure this is like a soup and the chicken is cooked well. I know some of the methods use a different way where the onions are fried and the masalas are fried and the chicken is fried, but I find this to be the most easiest way to do it. There's another spice that we missed. It is red chili flakes. So I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes. Give this a good stir. Lid of my Instant Pot, and I'm going to set it for meat setting. So that's 10 minutes on normal, and I'm going to let it cook. So I have half of these onions that I'm going to fry now, and I cut my green chilies and the ginger for garnish, and I have the lemon slices as well. So this is the oats and the rice flakes or poha that I soaked as the chicken is getting ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start frying these onions and keep them ready for our tadka as well as garnishing. Another tip is that when you put these onions for frying, you want to break them into every single piece. You want to separate them, and you want to put it in cold oil. Sometimes I even cover the pan with a lid, and they really get crispy. That's one of the very unlikely tips you will find, where you have to cover the pot while frying onions. and trust me, it will give you those crispy onions that go on top of the haleem. So do try it. And another tip about green chilies. So when we bring green chilies, what I do is I wash them, I let them dry overnight, and then I take off their stems, and then once they're all dried up, I put them in a Ziploc bag and I freeze them, as in when I need them, I take it out and I use it. So check these fried onions out. I used my lid, I covered it, and this is how they churn. Of course, you have to move them around because the edges fry faster. And do pay attention when you're frying your onions because it's very easy to burn them. I'm just gonna let them cook for a bit. I'm gonna take out majority of the onions and just leave. I'm gonna take out majority of these onions. I'm gonna leave out a few in the oil for the tadka. At this point, I'm gonna turn it off. I don't need it to cook anymore, and whatever the heat is should brown them even more. And then I'm gonna take it out and put it on a paper towel. Okay, so I opened my Instant Pot and I checked this, and it was well cooked. On the Instant Pot, it was set to normal and meat setting, which is 10 minutes. And I'm going to use this awesome device, the hand blender, and I'm gonna shred this chicken. Okay, I'm gonna reduce the speed, it was too high. You wanna make sure it's submerged, otherwise it becomes a huge mess. Okay. So be aware of that this was splattered all around the place. So you want to make sure that it's, you're being safe because it's still hot. I'm gonna shred all of this chicken and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Look how fast and how efficiently this is done. I mean, we are lucky that we don't have to go to fry this, and it's also chicken, so it's more easy. So we will need the hand blender later again when we have our oats that we need to shred. So now to this mixture, I tasted it and it's perfect right now. Once we add the oats, we're gonna check for salt again, and if we need to add any, we will do so. So all I need to do right now is I'm gonna add the oats, let it cook. I'm gonna cover it. Let me just move this from here. So these are my oats that were soaking. It does have some water in it. I'm just gonna dump all of it as is. And these are those old-fashioned oats. They're not the instant kind, but they're also not the steel cut ones. If you use the steel cut ones, those you will have to soak longer because they're very hard. At this point, I think I'm gonna add like a quarter or a half a cup of water more to this because I think it's pretty thick. And as you know, oats is gonna be a thickening agent as well. This is the only part that you need to eyeball as a new cook, or if you haven't cooked this before. I'm gonna just add my half a cup of water. Okay. Looks beautiful. I can't wait to see how it's gonna turn out. And then I'm gonna cover it. And I'm gonna cook it down for another on manual. You can use a manual setting, and I can do it for 6 minutes. And I'm gonna leave it to cook till my oats are done. And over here I have saved some so my dear friends, the haleem is almost ready and the oats have nicely cooked, but I still see a few chunks. So I'm going to use my hand blender and go about mixing it again. if you like, you could even shred the chicken by hand. I know some people like chunks of chicken in there, and some people like stringy chicken, some people like it smooth. So whatever your preference is, work the recipe accordingly. But I'm gonna make this nice and smooth. I don't want any chunks of oatmeal in there. By the way, I checked the spices. There is absolutely no need to add anything if you follow this recipe. According to my taste, the spice as well as the salt is perfect. And remember, you will add some chaat masala later on it to make it more yummy. So at this point, I'm going to turn this to saute, and I'm going to give it my tadka. Both things are hot, so you have to be careful when you do this. So all I did was I put some green chilies in here and I brought it to a boil like this, and I'm going to turn it off right now because the oil has nicely incorporated in the haleem. And I'm going to dish it out and I'm going to garnish it for you to see how it looks like. So as you can see, our haleem is ready. Look at these crunchy onions. Don't forget that technique of covering the pot while frying onions. It will give you these nice crunchy fried onions. So I'm just gonna garnish. I'm not gonna use all my onions so that, you know, I leave it for individual serving as well. Last but not the least, julienne. Nice squeeze of lemon. And save some for individual serving.